Just imagine, the year is 1981. You walk into your local record store and they have the newest album from Journey. It's an album called Escape. You buy it, you take it home, put the vinyl on the record player, and as soon as the needle hits the vinyl, this is what you hear. Escape was a monumental album for Journey, their seventh album. It was the album that shot them straight to superstardom, and it is the album that from their catalog that had the most staying power. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to Pixel Positive Music, where we are working on creating a great community where we can just have fun talking about music. This is episode 7 of our 14-part series covering every single album from the band Journey. Let's get into it. Those opening piano notes from Don't Stop Believing are just simply iconic. They're so recognizable. You hear those notes and you just know it's time for a great song. This song continues Journey's trend of having just an absolute killer opening track, one that just sets the tone for the entire album and really defines the experience that you're about to have. I'm sure for a lot of you guys actually remember or had a similar experience to the one that I just talked about, going into that record store and getting Escape and listening to it for the first time. Escape is one of those albums that it defines a band, but it also just defines a decade. It is a quintessential 1980s hit that is just so associated not just with the 1980s, but with music in general. This is one of the most downloaded songs of all time. It held that title for quite a while. I'm not sure if it still does. And it's definitely Journey's biggest hit. It's the song that everybody knows. Everyone sings it at the karaoke bars. Everyone sings it when they hear it on the radio in the car. It's just that kind of track. The TV show Glee really repopularized it in the 2000s. So I mean, Don't Stop Believing is a song that it's hard to even know what to say about it because it's just one of those songs. It defines the essence of Journey during this time. We start off with that amazing piano riff from Jonathan Cain, who this is his first album with the band. He just replaced Greg Raleigh. So we get that wonderful, iconic piano riff. We get that killer guitar solo from Neil. We get, of course, the incredibly catchy and relatable vocals from Steve Perry. We get the amazing drums from Steve Smith, and then the thumping bass of Ross Valerie. The chemistry of the band in this era on this album, and in particular this track, is just incredible. It's unparalleled. The band never quite, in my opinion, had this type of chemistry. Escape is not my favorite album from Journey, but it is definitely probably their best album, if I'm being honest, because I've always been a firm believer that our favorite thing and what we consider the best thing can be different. So Escape is just absolutely monumental. Last year it was certified diamond in the United States, which means it has sold over 10 million units alone, just in the United States, which is incredible for a single album. That's very, very good sales for an album. I mean, this track is just everywhere. It's the song that everybody knows. And I think that overall it is one of music's standout moments from the entire history of pop and rock music from the past 60 years and more. Don't Stop Believing is one of the standout hits. Absolutely. So that's just the opening track. That's just the opening track on this incredible album. The album moves right along from Don't Stop Believing to Stone in Love, an absolute iconic rock track. This one has a harder edge compared to Don't Stop Believing. It's got similar themes. Don't Stop Believing is very hopeful, and I for me it's a nostalgic track, and it suggests better times ahead. Stone in Love kind of takes us back again to that nostalgia time, that nostalgic period where you're just young and you're in love and you're just enjoying life. For me, Stone in Love is it. I don't know why, but it's always felt like a summer song. It just reminds me of driving down the highway at night in the summer, and it's just one of those tracks that works very, very well. It's such a great way to follow Don't Stop Believing, because it tells us right away this is not just going to be ballads on this album. Don't Stop Believing is kind of a ballad, and this one's not. So it shows us that Escape is going to be a journey album. It's going to have variety. It's going to have catchy music, catchy lyrics, and it's going to have powerful, crunching, like epic guitars. That's just Journey. You get this wonderful, high quality instrumentation and catchy, iconic vocals. So with the third track on the album, things slow down a little bit. We get Who's Crying Now, which is the first single from the album. It's a mid-tempo ballad. It's another hit. This is a song that is, again, very well known. This is why I call this the commercial era of Journey. Just about every track on a lot of these albums, and of this album and Frontiers, the next album, are pretty well known. So Who's Crying Now was the very first track they released with Jonathan Cain. Couple things about Cain. I think that his style is a bit different than Greg Raleigh. He does not typically sing vocals other than backing vocals. He doesn't do any duets with Steve Perry, really. He doesn't sing lead on anything here, not for a very long time. Not until their 2005 album, Generations, would he sing lead on anything. So he's a keyboard player, and more than that, he's a piano player. There are still keys, of course. There's still synths and Journey music here and later on. But this is when it really becomes more piano-based, which I think works. Obviously it works. These are amazing songs. These are popular songs. But it's just a noticeable difference from the first 6 albums from the band, which featured Greg Raleigh on keys. We get more of a prominent piano style. And I think this song works really well because that piano riff is prominent. It opens the song and it carries throughout the whole song. And then we get an incredible solo outro from Neil Schon. I would say one of his finest solos was Who's Crying Now. I mean, it's just absolutely a killer solo, melodic, and just it's rich and it's like epic. I mean, it's just such a good solo. Things kind of change as we go into the fourth track, Keep On Runnin'. Keep On Runnin' is one of the 2 or 3 like lesser known tracks on this album. It's a fast-paced rock track. It's not a single. It's just, for me, it's an album track. I think that the band made really good choices on their singles on this album. This is a really popular live song, especially now in Journey's modern era. Their former and again current drummer Dean Castronovo does an excellent job singing this one live. So I think, Keep On Running is there's not really much to say about it. It's just a fun, fast-paced rock track that really kind of shakes things up a little bit after the powerhouse 3 tracks that we get to start off this album. And then we go into Still They Ride, which is an absolutely beautiful ballad. For me, this is one of my favorite Journey songs, and I think it's one of Steve Perry's greatest vocal moments in the band, especially if you listen to the live version from Greatest Hits Live. It's just absolutely a beautiful song. I don't know, there's just something about this song that the chorus is just so powerful, and I mean, it's a beautiful ballad. Definitely one of Journey's best songs. We move on from Still They Ride to another rock track, and the title track, Escape. Escape is another mid-tempo rock track. It's also the start of side 2 of the album. which I think is great. Still They Ride was a wonderful way to close out the first side of this album, and Escape is a great way to open up the second side. We get a really nice rock edge with a good piano riff and really like great driving vocals from Perry. This is a song that feels like it's just driving forward, it's moving forward, and it's about escaping. I mean, it comes off very confident, I think. So Escape is a great way to start off side two. Then we move on to Lay It Down, which I think that for me, Lay It Down is probably the weakest track on the album. Also, probably the most forgettable. It's not one that I really think about very much. Lay It Down, it's kind of in that same vein as Keep On Running. It's just another rock track that it works in the album, but it's definitely an album track. It's just, it's just another song. But it works as a transition to the final few tracks on the album. Dead or Alive is really fast-paced rocker. It's really quick. It's a pretty good song. I think that the live version is really, really awesome. The live version on the album that you see behind me is really, really good and definitely worth checking out. And then we have two songs that close the album out. Very powerful tracks. The first one is Mother Father. It starts off very slow, has very powerful like crescendos where it's like lower volume, and then it really just picks up. And then by the end of this track, this is like a full-on like rock ballad that just has such a really powerful chorus, really powerful lyrics. I'm not really sure what the song is even about, honestly, but it feels like to me it's about family and having faith, but not necessarily faith in a higher power, but just faith in general and in yourself. The current live version of this song is also very, very good. Dean Castronovo, again, does a very good live rendition of this song in the modern iteration of the band. But again, the album behind me, very, very good live version from Steve Perry. I mean, it's just absolutely killer. This is another one of those songs that you listen to it and you're like, how did he just sing that song? It's pretty crazy. And then finally, of course, one of the big ones, Open Arms is the perfect way to end this monumental album. Open Arms is an iconic hit that just, for me, Open Arms is one of the songs that just really started power ballads. The 80s are just full of power ballads from so many different bands. I mean, from Styx to Survivor to Journey will do more power ballads. I mean, it's an 80s thing to do a power ballad, to do a ballad that's got like a little bit of a rock edge to it. And I feel like this kind of started with Open Arms. Open Arms is incredible. It's another one of those songs that just, there's not much you can really say about it that hasn't been said. It's one of their most popular songs. It's one of their highest charting singles, if not their highest charting single. And I mean, if you listen to the live version of Steve Perry singing this song in Journey's heyday, it's breathtaking. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. He absolutely knocks it out of the park. Jonathan Cain's piano on this song is just gorgeous. I mean, it's Open Arms. I do like on the newer live performances of the band the past few years, Neil started adding a really awesome solo into the song, and it works very, very well. Wish they would have had that on the studio recording, but I am glad that Neil revisited the track and decided to add a solo to the live performances. So that is Escape. It is a monumental achievement from Journey. It's the album that really shot them to stardom. Everything changed with this album. This is when the band became a global phenomenon. Very, very famous. They would tour Japan and so many other countries. I mean, this is like the start of Journey's most successful and most famous era. The band just, they had such a run from here to the end of Raised on Radio in 1986. I mean, they just absolutely, this was the start of some major, major things for this band. It's the album that really just defines their career. Like I said, it's not my favorite Journey album, but I do think it is the best Journey album. It's the band at their absolute best. Every member is firing on all cylinders here. Everyone is performing so well. Everyone is just putting everything they have into the music at this point in time. And I mean, this is the famous lineup that we got so close to recreating recently, before Steve Smith and Ross Valerie were fired back in 2020. We came so close to recreating this lineup. We had 4 of the 5 members in Journey. And I mean, there's a more modern live album where Arnell and the band performs Escape, and then Frontiers live. It's very well done. I think it's worth checking out. It's on Apple Music and the other platforms. And then that album behind me, Live in Houston, 1981, which was a Father's Day gift to me from my amazing wife. It is probably the best way to experience the band at this point in time. You get a lot of tracks from Escape. You get the band on tour in 1981 when they were just absolutely incredible. One of the world's greatest live acts. I mean, they just killed it. So that album is also well worth checking out if you want to kind of shake up your listening experience, because I'm sure we've all listened to Escape. I've listened to this album many, many times before I sat down to review it. So it was kind of fun experiencing the live albums and some of the other performances as a different way to experience this incredible, incredible album. So let me know what you guys think about Escape. I want to hear your comments. I'm so thankful for all the support that the channel has gotten. It's been incredible. We're almost to 30 subscribers. The Don't Give Up on Us video is almost to 900 views, which is just blowing my mind. The History of Journey series that we're doing here is doing very well as well. So I'm very happy with how everything on the channel is doing. Everyone's had great feedback, and it's just been so much fun. And we've got so much more to go. This was part 7 of a 14 part, not 13. All the other videos I said 13, but I actually meant 14. We are covering every album. I just miscounted. Sorry, generations, you're kind of forgettable. So 14, this is 7 out of 14. So we are halfway there on the currently released Journey albums. Gonna try to get all of this done and out by July 8th so that we can have a review for Freedom ready to go. Because we're just 2 weeks out until Freedom. So first new Journey album in 11 years. Very, very excited to review that one. We've also got a review coming for Journey's first single from Freedom, The Way We Used to Be. It came out last year. I did not do a review on that one because I didn't have a YouTube channel yet. So I'm going to go back and review that one in between these. And I might do a bonus episode on Steve Perry's first solo album, Street Talk. I think that album is worth visiting. It's got some good songs on it. So maybe if I have time. If not, we'll tack it on at the end. Because I want to go into the solo stuff a little bit at the end. So if you guys haven't, make sure you subscribe. We got lots of content coming. Once we finish Journey, I'm going to be probably covering Styx. It's another one of my favorite bands from this era. And then after that, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we got all kinds of great music to talk about. So definitely make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that content. Hit that thumbs up button below. Maybe even hit the bell if you want to be notified. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one.